Erica Vetsch loves Jesus, history, romance, and sports. She's a transplanted Kansan now living in Minnesota, and she's married to her total opposite and soulmate. When she's not writing fiction, she's planning her next trip to a history museum and cheering on her Kansas Jayhawks and New Zealand All Blacks. Erica, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining me. I'm so excited to learn a little bit more about you this morning. Can I start by asking, how did you get started writing?
I think I always wanted to be a writer, but I didn't realize it. When I was a kid, I was often um, found daydreaming or making up stories in my head. In fact, when I was little, my mom said, Erica, I swear someday when you grow up, you're going to have to find a job that pays you to daydream because it
Well,
was the
you
thing
did
I was best at. And so I'm
it.
like, mission accomplished.
Yeah, I love it. And so tell us what you write.
Well, I started out writing, I write historical romance. And I started out writing stories set in the American West, westward expansion up through the Gilded Age. But a few years ago, I made the switch to writing Regency romance, which is set in England between 1810 and 1820. So think Jane Austen style stories.
Definitely. What do you love most about writing historical fiction?
Ooh, probably the research. I also was a high school history teacher and a history
Okay.
major in college, and I just love all things history. So, really digging in and learning about what the culture and society was like in a different time and place interests me greatly.
Very fun. I always say that I was probably born in the wrong era, although I know I wouldn't survive a day in the past,
Oh, no, I think I
but my
was born in
heart
the
is
right era.
definitely in another era.
Yeah, I always thought I would make a terrible pioneer. My family jokes, the Oregon Trail, they would take such heavy belongings and things that they wanted to keep, but about halfway there, they realized they weren't going to make it if they
Yes.
didn't offload. So you'd see a china cupboard or a big dresser or something. And I said, they would have offloaded me. I would have been found sitting in a chair on the side of the road because they would not make this trip if they had to keep taking me with them.
I love that, and I can completely relate. Well, this morning we're excited to talk about your new book, A Thievery at Carlton House, that was just released. Do you have that
Yeah,
nearby?
I do.
Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous cover.
So,
Can you tell us a
yeah.
little bit about it and what inspired that story?
Well, the inspiration from the story actually goes back several stories. Um, all of my regencies take place in the same, I call it the Haverly universe. So from the first book, The Lost Lieutenant, up through A Thieving at Carlton House, you'll see lots of crossover characters. It takes place in that same story world. So
Okay.
A Thieving at Carlton was actually taking a character from the previous series, the Thorndike and Swan series, and giving him his own series. So these are Regency mysteries at the moment,
Okay.
with romance thrown in. So yeah, it was just a natural outgrowing of the books that had come before.
Great. Now, is this a standalone book or do you have to read others before you read this one?
You can read it by itself because there is a conclusion to a mystery in it. But I think that you'll get a rounder, fuller, maybe more enjoyable experience if you read the books that come prior to it. But you can start with this one and then go back and fill in those blanks yourself. And this is the first book in a 3-book series.
Okay, great. I love that. So what are you working on next? I'm imagining book 2 in this series.
I am anxiously awaiting edits on book 2, and I am plotting and beginning to write book 3.
Wow, look at you go. That's incredible. How many books now have you published?
I think a theming at Carlton is somewhere around 42, maybe.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Wow. Goals, big, big goals right there.
Well, I've been at it for a while.
So, you have a special friend that is often with you all over social media and wherever you go. Can you introduce us
I
to
do.
Jane in the library?
So this is Jane in the library. She is a Funko Pop. She was an original Barnes and Noble exclusive release. And I found her, and she's a very good little mascot. She travels with me. Um, she loves to get her picture taken with readers. You can find her by searching hashtag Jane in the library on Instagram. And she's also a very good motivator because she never blinks. She sits there and looks at me like, why aren't you writing? So, yeah, never blinks.
I love
So,
it. We all need a motivator.
there you go.
That's so fun. All right. Well, we're going to enter in what we call our lightning round of questions, although
Okay,
we are authors. We have lots of words and it rarely
that is
goes
true.
lightning fast, but we will do what we can. All right. What is your favorite genre to read?
Thrillers.
Awesome. And who is your favorite author or authors?
The author that most inspired me to want to be a writer was a woman named Essie Summers, and she was a Presbyterian minister's wife from New Zealand, and she used to write for the very old Mills and Boone Harlequin when they were clean romances. And I
Wow.
have her entire collection. She was a fantastic writer.
That's awesome. I've never heard of her. I will definitely
Yeah.
have to look her up. What's your favorite way to spend a quiet evening?
With my husband, usually watching, if there aren't any sports on, we're usually watching a BBC period drama.
There's some good ones out there too, aren't there?
A lot.
Let's see, are you a plotter or a pantser?
Plotter.
I always tease, I have outlines for my outlines. I I love to plot. If you could spend a day as a character in any book, who would it be?
This one really stumped me, and I think I chose a book from my childhood. I would like to grow up or spend a day as Alec Ramsey from the Black Stallion because I'd love to be able to ride horses whenever I wanted.
That's a really good answer. I
I think
love
he was my first like book boyfriend crush in fifth grade.
that.
So yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Yes. What was your favorite toy as a child?
Breyer horses, model horses.
Nice. So, are you a fan of friends to lovers or enemies to lovers, or neither or both?
If I had to choose one of those, it would be friends to lovers. But some of my favorite tropes actually are like marriages of convenience or forced proximity.
Yeah, those are usually pretty good.
Yeah.
What is one goal you haven't reached yet?
I think probably deep down, every writer would love to have one of their books optioned for a movie. I think that would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. That's definitely a big goal. Do you prefer coffee or tea?
Tea, always tea.
Always tea. Do you
Earl
like?
Grey, preferably.
Oh, okay. Well, that's very Jane Austen of you.
True.
Do you have anything else crafty or creative that you like to do?
I do actually. I do quite a bit of sewing, quilting, cross stitch, crocheting. Um, every Friday afternoon, my sister-in-law comes over and we spend the afternoon in my sewing room, usually making things for a charity called Bundles of Love,
Hmm.
which provides a layette for each baby of a person in need.
Oh,
So
I
they
love
go out to crisis pregnancy centers and social workers and food pantries and things like that.
I love that. I found that so many authors have this creative juice flowing through them, and it comes out in many different ways. And it's always
Yeah.
interesting to hear what creative outlets my favorite authors are involved in. What is your favorite historical era to write about? I know you've mentioned you've kind of hopped around. Do you have a favorite?
My favorite's usually the one I'm currently in because there's something fascinating about each one that you can dig into. One I haven't really been brave enough to dig into, but I love going to the museums or the historic sites is Civil War
Mm.
in the United States. I've been to a lot of Civil War battlefields and museums and things, but Civil War readers are really technical and they know their stuff. And so you have to really be on it with your historical research. And I haven't jumped into that one yet. But who knows, maybe someday.
Never know. Do you have any nicknames?
I do. My nickname in my family, my birth family, not my husband never calls me that, but my nickname is Ducky.
Ducky. Aw.
Ducky. Yeah.
That's cute. How do you pick your names for your characters?
Well, you always have to go back to what was in use at the time. So, period literature is a good idea. Biblical names are always on the table. Um, but yeah, mostly it's period literature. You go through and read historical accounts and pick names from there. Because the last thing you want is like a Regency heroine whose name is Skylar. You know,
Right.
that's a bit anachronistic.
Yeah, yeah, that will definitely throw your readers off from the very get-go.
Hmm.
What was your first concert that you ever attended?
The first one that I can remember attending was a Steve Green concert at the Nazarene University in Olathe, Kansas.
Steve Green, that
So
takes me back.
yeah, I was in college, so yeah, late 80s.
Yeah,
I think that was the first one can remember going to.
okay. Do you have a dream destination where you'd love to go and just sit and write?
I would love to visit New Zealand, partly for S.E. Summers, partly because I love All Blacks rugby, and partly because of the Lord of the Rings movies that were shot there.
And
So
it's
I've always wanted to go to New
beautiful.
Zealand.
It's so
Yeah, I don't know how
beautiful.
much writing I would get done there, but
Just staring, wandering,
yes,
exploring.
exactly.
That would be a beautiful place to write, though, if you could train your mind to do that.
Yeah,
Yes. What's the most difficult part of the writing or publishing process for you as an author?
probably again whatever part I'm working on at the moment. Everything else looks shinier because writing can be, can be and is at times hard work. I think over the years, some parts have gotten easier. Marketing used to be really difficult for me until I realized I don't need to be, walking around with a sandwich board on that says buy my book. It's making connections with readers. And once I could reframe it that way, then marketing became easier. But initially, marketing was the most difficult part for me.
I completely understand why. Because I'm in the beginning of my writing career and it's very,
Mhm.
very hard. Yes.
Yeah. So really, I try to think of it like a Venn diagram. Where does my life or my interest and a reader's interest intersect so that we can say, oh, me too. So whether that's books or history or Jane Austen or tea or sports, even, where do we overlap? And then we can have a discussion about things that we like that may show up in my books.
I love that. What's a book you're excited to read?
Um, Julie Clausen's last Sisters of Seaview book comes out December 2nd, and I plan on being there at the launch party to get my copy.
Awesome. I love it. She's a great author.
She is.
And what do you love most about being an author?
The people that I have met, authors, readers, the people in the industry. I have made some lifelong friendships through writing that I would have missed out on.
It's amazing. They say that writing is such a isolating job,
Hmm.
such an isolating career, and yet at the same time there is this community, and it's such a
Yes.
beautiful community and such a welcoming
Yes.
community. So you just have to put yourself out there.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. All right. Well, Erica, this was so fun. Can you tell our viewers and readers where they can learn more about you?
You can find more information on my website, which is ericavetch.com. I do have Instagram and BookBub. It's at Erica Vetch. And then if you want to find me most times, I am in the Inspirational Regency Readers group on Facebook. So if you just search for Inspirational Regency Readers, our group should pop up to the top. And I spend way too much time in there.
It's easy to get sucked in.
Hmm.
All right, so now a little bit about our collaboration, our giveaway. You have been gracious enough to give away a paper copy of your newest book, A Thieving at Carlton House, for
Hmm.
US residents only. And same for mine. I am giving away a custom set of jewelry. It's hard to
So
see with the
beautiful.
camera, but it has the colors of your book and a sort of delicate Regency look about it. And so
Yes.
our viewers, our readers just need to find on either one of our Facebooks or Instagram pages, they will see a graphic advertising this collaboration. All they have to do is like it and follow us both on social media and then comment done. So like, follow, comment done, and then we will pick one winner and they will receive both the jewelry and the book.
Ah, wonderful. Those are so beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks so much for taking time. I know you're very busy, but I appreciate you just having this conversation. It's great to get to know you, and congratulations on the new book.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This has been a lot of fun.
Thanks.